Imagine you wake up, go about your day, interact with people, make choices. You believe in your experiences, trust in the reality of the world around you. But what if suddenly you were told that everything you know, your relationships, your achievements, your very existence, was merely part of a highly advanced simulation? Would your life, your choices, and your search for meaning still matter? The concept of a simulated reality is not new, yet it's becoming more relevant with advances in technology and theories from physics and philosophy. Thinkers from René Descartes to Nick Bostrom have suggested that we may, in fact, be living in an artificial reality. In this video, we'll dive into this concept through the lens of existentialism, a branch of philosophy focused on the individual's search for meaning, freedom, and authenticity. We'll be exploring questions like, what would it mean for existentialism if reality were revealed to be a simulation? Would the search for meaning lose significance? Or would it become even more essential? Let's dive in. Before we apply existentialism to simulated reality, let's review some key existentialist ideas. Existentialism arose in the 19th and 20th centuries with thinkers like Soren Kierkegaard, Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, and Albert Camus. At its core, existentialism asserts that life doesn't come prepackaged with meaning. Instead, we, as individuals, must confront a sometimes absurd and indifferent universe to create our own purpose. Existentialists believe that humans are free to make choices, but with this freedom comes responsibility. Responsibility for the actions we take, the lives we create, and the meaning we ascribe to our existence. Jean-Paul Sartre famously declared that we are condemned to be free, meaning that freedom is both a privilege and a burden. Simulated reality theory adds a modern twist to an age-old philosophical question. What is real? Imagine if our reality, as we know it, were merely part of a simulation. Think of it as a super advanced virtual game where we play out our lives, believing in its authenticity. This idea has parallels to Descartes' evil demon hypothesis or the allegory of Plato's cave, where reality is not what it seems. But what would existentialist thinkers say if they had to grapple with simulated reality? To answer this, we'll start with the notion of authenticity. Existentialism puts high value on living an authentic life. Authenticity, in existentialist terms, means living according to our own values rather than conforming to society's expectations. It involves facing the fundamental absurdity of life, that it lacks inherent meaning, and choosing to live genuinely despite this realization. But if reality were simulated, would authenticity lose its meaning? If our existence is coded, our lives scripted to some extent, is true authenticity even possible? Or, paradoxically, does the quest for authenticity become more vital in a simulated reality where we might be tempted to dismiss life as not real enough? Take, for example, Jean-Paul Sartre's idea that existence precedes essence. This means we exist first and then define who we are through our actions. In a simulated world, would Sartre argue that our actions, even if they're simulated, still have the power to define us? The simulated nature of reality wouldn't necessarily invalidate our experience of choosing, of defining ourselves. So perhaps authenticity isn't as dependent on the realness of reality as it is on the commitment to one's own values and decisions. Now let's consider the existentialist view on freedom and responsibility. In a simulated world, we might feel inclined to abandon responsibility. After all, if our choices are part of a simulation, could we argue that we aren't truly responsible for them? For existentialists, this would be the ultimate act of bad faith, a term Sartre used to describe self-deception. If we reject responsibility on the grounds of living in a simulation, we deny our freedom. Instead, existentialism would argue that we must take responsibility for our actions, simulated or not. In fact, Sartre might claim that our responsibility becomes even more intense in such a scenario because it forces us to wrestle with our desire to avoid responsibility by blaming the simulation. Simulated or not, our subjective experience, the feelings, choices, and values we hold, would still belong to us. Even if the world is coded, our experience of freedom could still hold meaning. One of existentialism's central concepts is the absurd. Albert Camus described the absurd as the conflict between our desire for meaning and the universe's apparent indifference. The absurd arises from realizing that, despite our search for purpose, life's meaning is ultimately beyond our grasp. In a simulated reality, the absurd might feel even more prominent. Imagine finding out that your entire reality was created possibly for entertainment or as an experiment. The universe wouldn't just be indifferent, it would be manufactured. Camus might argue that this heightened awareness of the absurd doesn't make life meaningless. Rather, it intensifies the challenge to live with purpose. Camus suggests that we must imagine Sisyphus happy, finding meaning even as we push the proverbial rock up the hill of a possibly simulated existence. This struggle against the absurd, finding meaning in the face of a potentially artificial world, could be seen as an even more profound expression of the human spirit. This brings us to our central question. Would existentialism matter if reality were a simulation? Some might argue that if life is a simulation, existentialist ideas are irrelevant. After all, isn't purpose pointless in a fake reality? But existentialism could argue just the opposite. If the individual is all that truly exists in subjective experience, then the simulated nature of reality is irrelevant. What matters is our experience, our choices, and our values. Whether or not we live in a simulation, we confront the same challenges of authenticity, responsibility, freedom, and meaning. Sartre might say that whether simulated or not, existence still precedes essence. We still create ourselves through our actions and choices, however artificial the world might be. In conclusion, whether we live in a simulation or not, existentialism encourages us to live as if reality is real. Authenticity, freedom, and meaning aren't guaranteed by the nature of reality, but by our subjective commitment to them. If we ever learned that reality was a simulation, existentialism would likely encourage us not to abandon meaning, but to redefine it, to live authentically in the face of absurdity, and to find freedom in a world that might, ultimately, be artificial. So, simulated or not, our choices, our values, and our quest for purpose remain very real to us. And maybe that's all that truly matters. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into simulated reality and existentialism, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, continue searching for your own meaning, simulated or otherwise.